And I think we're rolling. All right. Hey, it's Doug Cunnington from Niche Site Project again, and we have Rob for our third coaching session. So, how's it going, Rob?
Good. It's pretty hot here in Thailand.
Oh, yeah. How hot is it?
It has been getting over 100 and kind of sticky.
Really? Man, that is
Yeah.
pretty hot. Is a lot of mosquitoes and stuff, or what?
Yeah, nighttime. Got to get the spray out.
Yeah. Wow. It looks like you're wearing the same shirt as last time.
Yeah, I don't do laundry here.
Yeah. Yeah, same here. Same here. Okay. So last time, session two, we talked about the task list and really sort of everything that you do from start to finish when you're working on a niche site. So if you haven't checked that one out, I'll put a link below so you can see the second video. And you could also check out that full task list. And out of that session last time, we realized that we sort of want to focus in on this content area. And in essence, I asked Rob to describe what he does for his content now and what he wants it to be like. So, just like we did in the first, or sorry, the second session around the task list, the exercise of just thinking about this is really helpful. So, Rob, I think I'm displaying my screen and I'll just click over so people can see. But can you tell us a little bit about this spreadsheet and the process that you went through?
Yeah, so I started with my existing content process. So from the moment you know what articles you want to have written, you've done your keyword research, start with the planning phase, how I create the assignment, hire the writers, just listed everything I do right now.
Okay, cool. And okay, and in general, it was sort of like I guess breaking out these specific items in that content phase. So I don't remember off the top of my head, but content probably had like 10 different steps. And then you really, expanded about, each of the subtasks, right?
Yep.
Okay. And then let's see, I'm just going to move over to the other tab and this is just generally what you want it to be after reviewing what you're doing right now, right?
Yeah, so then I had kind of a to-be process, sort of what I think it would look like if I took a little bit more time up front to plan, create templates, create just a better workflow for what my content system would look like, in addition to, bouncing some of these ideas off of you and having you say, well, it's on the right track, but, maybe this and this.
Got it. And then um, I guess have you ever done anything like this before, like a gap analysis?
Not for niche sites, no.
Okay. Um, and then like in a day job, have you ever done anything like this?
Yeah,
Okay, cool. And then I guess we can just sort of look at each one of these steps, or at least the ones that you feel like they're important and that we need to talk about. So we'll start at the existing process, and I bet you probably saw some areas that you want to improve. So I'll just turn it over to you, and we could hit the stuff that you think is most important.
yeah, I'll just kind of jump over the first couple. I don't think we need to put the most energy. So planning, first of all, I'm like, what's the quality? Am I going to go to Odesk, Elance? I kind of have a good idea of what it costs for the content I'm looking for. I come down to research and kind of look at the top products in the niche. I also look at other affiliate sites and kind of see how their sites are organized. So I get an idea of what kind of information the buyer's problem needs to be solved on the content. And so as we get into create the assignment, I think this is where a lot of my energy is being used. And basically, every single assignment, whether it's that main page, like I put here, for example, best protein powder for women or X product review. I create a unique sort of template for each one, and I think that's something that can be put into a system, and you don't have to keep wasting that energy each time.
Right. Okay. Yeah, I agree. I mean, they're not unique snowflakes or anything. They're just, it's a product and they have like some different specifications and there's certain things you want to cover. And you may have to change a couple words here or there, but it's pretty uniform, I think.
Yeah. Do you want me to continue into the hiring process?
Yeah, yeah. Why don't we just keep rolling through this one and then maybe we could, I guess, go back up to the template stuff. It sounds like that's something we're going to get into the details on.
Yeah, and here in the writing area or the hiring area, I don't think um, I'm doing a great job of the hiring process. So like learning how to hire, again, template creation. What does a job application look like? Um, all these messages I send, it's just each time I'm rewriting them, right? Um, that's kind of working with the writer. I think, yeah, so those are the two common areas, right? Creating the assignment templates and then kind of a workflow system with the writers is inefficient as well.
Okay. And I know, I guess we'll probably get into more stuff in the 2B, but I'm going to ask two questions right now.
Sure.
So, on row 15, it says if the candidate looks solid, hire them. It says you may send a message to ask a question or inquire about scheduling expectations. And then you say it's a bad move. Why do you say it's bad?
So to hire them, I know it's bad in the sense that it's just like I'm asking their expectations, but like I just might do it. There's no flow. It's just because if you look, the next one I kind of meant maybe I usually ask them to send the first article before writing. Like sometimes I forget, so
Gotcha.
it's all in my head, and if my head is not sharp, we lose steps in time and energy. So
Got it. Okay. And then I guess my second question goes away. So it was around receive the next article. So you usually accept them as is, but sometimes you may go reread them and ask for changes, but other times you just take a block of a few articles.
yeah, and I guess the reason is, I'll give them usually after the first one, I'll give them some feedback, and then I've usually just got to the point where I felt like the energy to correct them at that point is just useless. So I maybe fear of then just knowing how to pull the plug and say you're done, and I just end up kind of going with them and accepting it. So
Gotcha.
I see that as an issue too.
Got it. And then do you have you been burned by getting subpar quality articles after that initial successful good article?
Yeah,
Okay, got it. So you actually have there was some consequence to that by not checking. Okay. Anything else on the existing process right now before we go to the 2B?
nope. Let's go.
All right.
So I added a little bit in the planning stage. Uh, it kind of starts the template kind of idea where you're looking at the type of assignments you have, the type of pages, and then asking yourself, do you have a template for this? If you don't, are you going to use it in the future? If yes, create and save a template. If not, don't create a template. You're just going to have to maybe build a unique one for that particular article. Who knows?
Okay.
Uh, let's see. Into research. Let's just skip to higher writing. So this is where I added a lot of this stuff.
Okay.
Um, I said fill out, Elance, Odesk, job posting. using what I call, I guess, standard content hiring doc. And I actually don't even know what that would look like, but I think I need to have some sort of like standard assignment doc.
Okay.
And I think we might have discussed, but change over to hiring a few writers just to have the first one. I don't even know how that flow really looks like. How to fire after that if they're not meeting the level I want. And then, have a job acceptance template and instructions for them to send over the first article. So really just the things we were talking about and just really cementing these on this process right here.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
And then when they're writing, if I see any issues, how to go about having them rewrite it as needed. And if they're not meeting expectations, firing them. I hope I wasn't all over the place, but that's...
No, I mean, this is really good because, regardless if we take action on every single one of these or just a portion of them, like you've gotten it out of your head and it may be something that you could stop worrying about. Because, going back to what I can't remember if it was earlier in this call or session 2, but, if you feel out of control, like you just don't know exactly what to work on next, or there's a bunch of things you have to work on, but you're not 100% sure. You just have a huge list in the back of your mind, but just like getting it out, knowing that, for example, you may need to have a template or send an email that releases one of your contractors because, they did a bad job or you just don't need them anymore or anything like that. So this is perfect, and you'll probably think of more questions and more sub points along the way as you're actually doing this. So, okay. And you honed in really well on one of the benefits here, and that's you'll be able to develop templates for most of the things that you're doing. Now, you mentioned fill out Elance or Odesk job posting using a standard hiring template. You said, I'm not even sure what that would look like, but my question to you is, you've hired people on those platforms before, right? And you can go back and check what you were saying in the job postings. You could pick what you liked, get rid of the stuff you didn't like, and you probably have a few job postings out there, so you can, use the tried and true templates that you have, and then just take the best parts and then put it in a Word doc or whatever, and then copy and paste it, fill in the blank for certain areas. So I think most of the emails and most of the articles that you've had written, you may have to make the template, but I'm pretty sure you've already done the work. It's just a matter of like organizing it. So
yeah, and it's just taking this time to put it all together, take the best practices of what I've done and just have it there so I don't have to repeat this time and time and time again,
Yes. Okay. The next thing we'll look at is the second part of this assignment was, now that you've seen these areas where you can probably stop recreating the wheel, I asked you to list out the possible templates that you think you can take advantage of. So let's, you know what? I haven't even really looked at these, so I'll let you talk about this also.
Okay, so I came up with 4 template ideas that I think should cover at least the meat of a niche site, maybe 75%. Who knows? But if you got these down, it would really help a lot. So obviously, Amazon product reviews, or just any type of product review. I call it main post. I'm sure a lot of your readers are familiar with the, best. We use the example here, best USB mouse, 2015 reviews. That's kind of the standard,
Sure.
page you're trying to really, really rank. And and then maybe some more helpful posts, how to do this, or we said like USB mouse tips, maintenance, whatever.
Hmm.
And then another post that I like is a top brands type post.
Okay.
So yeah,
All right. Cool. And then for the, oh, I'm sorry. So it feels good to write these out. I guess it would cover at least 75 articles. And you're talking about the ones above, right? The template above.
yeah.
Okay. And then for the random articles, I ask you, right? Are those really random, or can you not generalize those as well? Blank accessories and blank versus blank and
I guess
stuff.
yeah.
Top 10, and it could also, you have top 10 brands, but you could probably do other types of top 10 style posts. Um, so they're not so much random, it's just the content within them would be widely varying. But I know I'm a reader of the digital marketer website or blog or whatever, the company overall. So I know they have a couple of pieces of content about creating content, and they have 20 different kind of articles, and or not 20 is low. There's a bunch of different kind of blog content, and you could just pick like five or six out of there, and then they may have templates. There's like
Okay.
expert interviews, and maybe it's a curated type post where they're just quoting experts from other sites, from their own site or from a news site, and then you actually don't. I mean, it's more of an organization of information that's out there versus like writing fresh new content. And I bet you could probably fill a lot of those random articles that way. So
You you hit on a thing that really that has been a struggle for me, and it's you said okay, you've got the templates, but the information inside is changing a lot, right? So maybe laptop accessories, like that type of article, can be made into a template, but the information within it is very different. I'm having a hard time wrapping my brain around creating a template. And we can even go back to how this works for your main post, right? If you're doing best USB mouse, the criteria for buying that is a lot different than a different type of product. Let's say, um, how do you keep that structure that changes information? Like, does that make sense?
yeah, it does. So if it was like, gosh, I'm trying to think of some other example. So maybe
I
like,
guess is your template like okay? So let's say we're doing best USB mouse. Maybe the criteria for the buyer's decision there's like five different things, right? So does your template just say, hey, you have room to break down the the different buying considerations, and then maybe your next product only has three. So it didn't have to have five exactly,
right,
but you put the features or the considerations into that
right.
part of your template. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. And now that I'm thinking about it, let's say it's like a USB mouse and then like ironing boards or something like that. Completely different, right? But some factors are always in there. It's like, um, features, price, like user experience, like user reviews or something like that. So maybe the sub points underneath would vary quite a bit, and maybe you can put those in specifically for each product, but at least you have like the main 5 points, and hey, like a USB mouse may need to have batteries, but most ironing boards don't have batteries at all. So,
Yeah, and I guess the worst case scenario is if you had to radically change it. Like that's for a particular niche. Let's just say that's really not the end of the world. Like I'm already doing that now every time, so
right,
you know what I mean. You can
right,
still be flexible if you need to be. So
right. And then, so, so that's really good for the templates on the actual content that you're having written. one thing that I'm going to tell you that you need to do
Okay.
is there are certain points of contact, like with working with a writer, and you hit on them on the to be process already. So it's like the initial job posting, like maybe the second, or sorry, the initial job posting, and then the initial correspondence to a particular writer, and then the email for like hiring them for a trial, and then the email. So all these emails, like each interface, like that's probably going to be an even bigger opportunity for like optimization, because you're like writing those emails fresh each time. And I bet for these Amazon review templates, like you could probably give the people an outline and then they can run with it from there. But like if you're writing each one of these emails out, like that's a lot of time you're spending, that you're creating like unique new ideas when you could just like
Yes.
copy and paste a paragraph like, hey, welcome to Rob's team, blah 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 blah. And you don't ever have to write that again. It would just be like, write USB mouse article, like copy paste that in, and then if you have any questions, like, all that stuff is already written.
I like that.
So add all the interfacing like emails that you can think of that you would have with a VA, including like when to fire them. Are you are you like timid about releasing a VA or anything like that?
Um, I've had no problem, after a project just being like, you know, you didn't hold up your end. Yeah, I'm not going to hire you again. But
Yeah.
I've never midway in the content actually said like, hey, this is not cutting it. And so
Okay.
no, yeah, I'm a little timid. Yeah.
Okay. So maybe, think about that a little bit. I've definitely had to let go a couple VAs that, some of them just never show up or do anything. So that's pretty easy. You could just say, hey, sorry, it didn't work out, blah, blah, blah. But, I would say write one of those templates too. The shorter, the better. And usually, the way I approach it is like the more just act professional, right? So just keep it straightforward, facts. No need to call anyone out. It's just like, hey, it didn't work out, and then move on. And the reason why I mention that is, you alluded to it before, but I'm a believer in having like sort of duplicate, especially for VAs, to have like duplicate roles there, because things change. Like people get busy, they miss deadlines. Even very good VAs, um, they just may disappear every now and then. And if you have the ability, depending on what you're working on, to have people working in duplicate, it's really helpful. So and in that way, the reason why I'm mentioning that is sometimes I would hire like 3 people knowing that I would only have like one role available, so I could actually test drive. I mean, I'm paying everyone, right? So they're not being taken advantage of. They know it's a trial job, but then I could select like the best of 3 instead of like rolling the dice with one person who may not really follow directions properly. And then, you award them the job or you don't, and you could release them. So um, I was kind of all over the place, but I think you get the point. Write out all the templates you may have to
Yeah.
interface with people. So, all right. Well, I think we're coming up towards the end of time here. Do you have any questions about anything?
So you mentioned that I should highlight some of the interactions with the VAs. I did put some of it on the to be process, but you just mean where you take it to the next level and kind of refine what that would look like.
Yes, and it looks like my Chrome crashed there, so I won't have the luxury to look at that. But yes, just like in your the third tab with the possible templates, go ahead and list them
Okay.
out there, and then you'll have a list, and then you'll know, you'll know what you have to create or at least refer back to, because I'm certain you've composed all of these emails already. It's just a matter of refining it so that you have sort of just a template that you could refer to and make it easier on your mind.
Okay, so that makes sense. So just take the to be process with my writers, and kind of anytime I see a need for a template, just maybe look back at what I've done and just create them.
Right. And one other thing to add is, so we're going to identify like content templates that you can use, and then these correspondence templates that you can use. And then the thing is, you're going to miss some, right? Like no matter how much you could plan, there's going to be something you're going to miss. So whenever you hit one of those, you'll know it because you're going to have to write the new email or whatever. So just put it on the list, and then you'll know, hey, this is another one that I could refer to in the future. And I just wrote it, and I'm just going to go ahead and make a template out of it right now. And then you just have a library of stuff that you don't have to like recreate over and over again.
Makes sense.
Okay. Any other questions?
I think I got some work to do.
I think so. And yeah, I'm happy with the progress we're making here. So I think just going through these exercises of like writing everything down, like actually, making your thoughts permanent by writing them down, is really effective. So
Yeah, I think really, two things, like just getting it out on paper is huge. And then, just having someone to bounce what's going on off of is just, it's huge. You know what I mean? A lot of this stuff, as we're doing this online, we internalize a lot of stuff, and there's information out there that it's hard to talk to a human about it,
Right. Yes, I agree 100%. Cool. So. Now, we don't have to decide right now, but for the next session, should we cover like the templates and how you've dealt with that stuff? Or is there something else you want to look at instead?
I say let's just do the templates for now.
Okay. I think that's good. That'll be a nice continuation. So, and I bet, we'll look at them and generalize them, but those may be some templates that we could share with everyone, depending on if you let us do that, Rob. But we'll look at them. I bet we'll be able to get some templates that we could share with everyone. So,
no problem. Yeah.
Cool. All right. Well, I'll let you get to it, and I guess we'll talk in a couple days. We'll have a look at the templates and go from there.
Okay. See ya.
All right. See you later, man.